Yeah, Daryl Williams, is he here? Is Daryl here? He's not here. Little Gracie, his little girl. He has 3 boys. He called me up, he said, I'm having a girl. I said, dude, you have no idea what this is like. It's a whole different thing. And all of a sudden you have a little girl compared. Boys are different, girls are different. I have 2 boys and 1 daughter, but it's different. And as soon as he had the little girl, he calls me up and he says, yeah, I just got a couple more guns. I mean, all of a sudden your whole mindset's different. But I watch you dads here especially. And you moms too, but I love that. I'm one of these guys that spend most of my time just studying people, and I've been watching a lot of you guys while I've been here, and watching your lives, and watching you with your kids. And the whole thing with our lives is we all talk about the why. What's the why of our lives? None of you will ever build this business for a car. None of you will ever build this business for a big house. Those are things that are going to come as success comes, but you're never going to build this business for those reasons. You're going to build this business for some of us, like me, because you're tired of passing on things in your life that you had that got passed on. And so you decided to make a decision as men and women, moms and dads especially, that it's going to end here. From this point on, I'm going to bless my kids. I'm going to bless their lives. I'm going to bless who they are, who they become. And for us, especially as dads, it's an interesting thing because I work with adults. I've done it for 30-some years, and we talk about all the things about their lives and the holdbacks and all the things that have held some of you back and those kinds of things. And a lot of it has to do with their relationship with their dads. For especially women, what was that relationship with their dad? What was that like growing up? And especially, and even for boys, relations with their moms and their parents. And it affects us as adults. And we have people walking around 30, 40, 50 years old crippled from relationships with parents because the parents didn't know how to bless their kids and how to change their lives and how to make a difference. Dave Ward, I've been doing some personal time with Dave on the phone, and I said, you got to read this book, Dave. We talked a lot about his son and his life and his dad and his past and things that had gone on in his life. I said, you got to read this book called The Blessing by Gary Smalley. It's a great book. He started reading it. He goes, now I'm starting to get it. Because his inability in some ways to pass on or to relate to his own son had to do with a relationship with his dad. And so I look around this week, I'm here with you guys, and I look at your lives, and I look at some of you that are overcoming. And some of you are just like, you're making decisions not just about Beachbody. This is a company. It's kind of fascinating because when somebody says, what do you do? Sometimes we struggle explaining it to them. Because we say, well, we got these products, it's Shakeology, it's this, it's that. But we know that's not really, that is what it is, but it's so much more. But how do we explain it? But see, I can look at that and I get excited because that means they don't know who we are. If they don't know who we are, then I get to explain to them who we are. Because I know there's no question in my mind that everybody in America, and eventually for us internationally, everybody needs what we have. I'm convinced of it 1,000%. Everybody needs what we have. And it's not just for the outside. Isabel was up here with Carl, I don't know if you sat in that session, and they were talking about it, and Isabel said that we need she was talking about the redo, and we need this redo in our body, emotion, or the inside, the internal things. We can do P90X, and we can look physically strong, and a lot of people are worried about, what am I going to do about this? I can't work out for 21 days. And she said, wait a minute. Your organs on the inside aren't doing well. You might have a lot of muscles and look great, but they're not doing well. Give it 21 days and get healthy. Most of us need to do this whole redo emotionally. We have to go inside and cleanse some of that stuff in our lives. And that's where the why comes in. And for all of us, when you talk, how do you work with coaches? How do you relate to your coach? How do you empower your coach? You empower when you listen to him. You empower when you build a relationship with him. I was reading the internet. I was reading an article on the internet the other day. Here's what it said about America. America's greatest desire is to do something that matters. Every single one of us, our greatest desire is to do something that matters. If that's true, then who do we share our business with? Everybody in this country. Every single person. Because everybody would like to have a chance to do what some of you guys are doing. A lot of you are doing. You're making a difference because you're listening. You're emotionally building a relationship with someone where they let you in. Because until I listen, until I really get to help you have a conviction about your life, and not just pound people with information. We get on the phone with our coaches, we just so much feel like we just got to give them more information. You know, we got to give them answers to all the questions. Some of you are scared to death to get on the phone with your coaches because you're afraid they're going to ask you something you don't know the answer to. Or you're afraid to get on the phone with them because you think, oh God, we're going to get in this long conversation. Learn to ask questions. Listening will be more profound than any statement you ever make. Listening will be more profound than any statement you ever make. If you can help your coaches understand their why by them discovering it, by asking them questions and letting them tell you what they need and who they are and what they're looking for and the value that they want in their life, and you can help them come up with some reasons or some things that need to change about them, then guess what? That becomes conviction. I can sit down with any coach and I can sit and say, oh, you need to do this, or you need to do that. If you'll do this, here's your problem. You're afraid. Yeah, that's great. That's me giving information to a coach. But if I sit down with them and they discover that, tell me what you're afraid of. Tell me what your challenge is. And now they share that with me. Guess what? That's self-discovery, which equals conviction. If I tell them, it's not the same because they didn't come up with it. When your coaches say, what do I need to do? I say, what do you think you should do? Because they know what to do. They know what to do. They also know what's keeping them from doing it. And that's the why. Because they want to matter. They want to have value. They want to be listened to. You know, the why of our lives, you guys, when it's really a purpose. And really, I always say, you know, I look at these people on the stage. I mean, I love all of them. I've been in relationships with all of them in some capacity or another. And I know some, I sit there and I look at them, it's so great because I know some of their struggles. What's still going on? We all sit up here, and you all know they look like they're just gorgeous. It's like, yeah, studly and buff, and we're just looking beautiful, and they were. But inside, they're still growing. There's still struggles. There's still insecurities. There's still, geez, am I really going to be able to be who all these people think I am? See all those things going on in their lives, and what's their why? To become better. And when the purpose of your life, your real purpose, intersects with your why, you have conviction and you have life change. When your purpose intersects with your why, you have life change and conviction. I love this quote. I'm going to read you a quote by Og Mandino. I love Og Mandino. I don't know how many of you read his stuff, but he's got something called University Successes, which is incredible, but greatest miracle in the world. But here's what he says about purpose, Og Mandino. I am here for a purpose. And that purpose is to grow into a mountain, not to shrink to a grain of sand. Henceforth will I apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of all. Now listen to this part. And I will strain my potential until it cries for mercy. That's powerful. I am here for a purpose. My whole dream when I started working with Beachbody was if I could find a handful of coaches and help them to discover the purpose of their life, the why of their life, their purpose to know that this is why I breathe every day. This is why what happened to me in my life happened to me in my life. It doesn't matter because so whatever happened, happened. And that was we sit where we are today. We can take all the things of our life we talked about before from the past and we can use it to do great things. And if you're sitting here today and think this is an accident that you're in the Bahamas on this day in 2012, you're wrong. And if you think anything less than where you're going this next 12 months, because you have been called to something very great. Something way beyond just selling Shakeology. And you know who knows that? Carl knows it, and Brett Blake knows it, and Jeff knows it, and Michael knows it. Because that's the perpetual driving mission of this company. It isn't just getting healthy on the outside, it's getting changed on the inside. So that you dads can bless your children and watch your daughters grow up to be healthy women. That can be moms, that can be wives, and your boys that grow up with courage and are strong and will stand for the right things. Why? Because you did. Because you changed. Because a crazy company called Beachbody decided to come together and have a mission of changing lives and your people from the inside out. But I know that products don't move products. People that are moved move products. When you're moved, you will move this company forward. You guys are the foundation of this company right now. To me, if I'm you, I'm excited. You know, the first Achievers thing I went to in Amway in 1979, there was like 3,000 people there, right? And I'm not saying that it still didn't charge me up. I knew I'd still be a player in that whole arena. But look what you have, you guys. You are it right now. But you've got to grasp that purpose and that vision. You know, look, and man, go get your picture taken with your kids with Mickey Mouse next door. And you put that on that flipping refrigerator. And you deny not being there. I will be there. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to bless their lives. I want to make a difference in their lives. And that's what you're doing every day with your coaches. You're making a huge difference in their lives. Why? Because I picked up this book at the airport. I've done really good on books at the airport recently. I picked up this one, Tell the Wind, which I love, on how to tell your story. I picked up this one. It's called, it says, People Follow You by Jeb Blount. And it says, the real secret to what matters most in leadership is that people follow you. Your coaches will follow you. Why? When you connect with them, when they trust you, when you build relationships with them, when they understand that you're there, that you challenge them, that you quit trying to be their friend all the time, and you challenge them at the core of their life because they've told you what their dream is. And their dream is not a new car. And even if they want to buy something, that's not the dream. The dream is to change the past of their life and to do what they know the DNA has told them from the time they were born, like me, like you, many of you in this room, do something great with your life. And now you've got someone like you as a coach saying, I'm going to do that with you. I do it, you watch. You do it, I watch. You do it. Right? You do it. I'm going to be there with you. I'm not going to be a travel agent or a tour guide. I'm a travel agent. We're going together. And when you build that trust relationship with a coach, they start to be honest with you. They're willing to tell you truthfully about their life because they trust you. You can't do that, guys, on email. Get on the phone. Let them hear a voice. Someone that cares. Let me just read this one paragraph in here because I love it. It says this. The most insatiable human desire. Now listen to this. This is you guys. This is us. This is who you see at the Bahamas. This is who you're going to see next week. This is who you have on your team calls. This is who you have on your challenge groups. The most insatiable human desire, our deepest craving, the one thing we want more than anything else is to feel valued, appreciated, and important. More than anything else, that's what we want. The human desire. The key to counseling and connecting and winning others over is therefore extremely simple. Make them feel important. The real secret to making others feel important is something you have at your disposal right now. It's listening. Listening is powerful. You listen to emotion. Quite simply, the more you listen, the more connected others will feel to you. When you listen, you make people feel important, respected. Leaders do not like to listen because listening makes them doesn't feel as important because you're not doing the talking. Much of the time that they are not talking, they are thinking about what they're going to say next. Feeling as most of us do, superior to those around us. Trust me, you are your own favorite person. It's not your fault, it's part of being human, but it's the fact. The roadblock of building connections with others, especially with those, is not being willing to listen. Our people need an emotional reset, you guys. We're going to sell this product. They're going to get that reset. I'm excited about doing it, sort of. Okay? I'm going to do it, right? But they need an emotional reset. So where does that come? If it comes with Jeremy and I, it's because he's got to trust me. See, trust is consistency over time. Trust is not, you don't sponsor a coach. If I sponsor Jeremy in the business, I don't say, Jeremy, you need to trust me. I tell him right up front, I said, you know what's we're going to build over the next 30 to 60 days, brother? Is trust. And you know how it's going to come? Is because I'm going to be consistent in my life. And when I tell you I'm going to do something, you can count on it. Like gravity, I promise you. And if you'll do the same thing with me, Jeremy, then whatever your dreams are that I'm going to buy into, that are going to be purposeful in my life too, are going to grow, and we can begin to trust one another. In this business, write this down. You believe in all of them and you trust a few. You believe in all of them and you trust a few. I learned that in my organization. I believed they could all build it. But who did I trust? Those that I built trust with. Those that I got down and understood that why, which is an emotional why. You have to dig deep, guys. You have to get that heart pounding. You have to have someone tell their story with an emotion. You know, I hear coaches talking, so yeah, it was 100 pounds. Like, you know, the first time I ever heard Tommy Magner tell a story, he goes, yeah, I was 100 pounds overweight. I lost all this weight. Look at me now. It's kind of a story. And now you know what Tommy talks about when he talks? He talks about being obese, depressed, sitting on a couch, hopeless, smoking dope, dipping dip. I mean, just out of it, messed up, right? Messed up. Why? Because that's the story. When I'm sitting in the back, and every time he speaks and tells that story, I try to imagine my heart because I remember being an obese kid and the pain of that. See, he emotionally connected with me. I get it, Tommy. So when you're telling your story, don't stand on the stage. Yeah, I lost 100 pounds, P90X, it's the best thing ever. Shake all you know. Tell me why you were 100 pounds overweight. What did it feel like? Why'd you get there? How hopeless were you? How much did you quit on life? How much had you given up? Because when me becomes we with an audience, with the one-on-one with me and Jeremy, now there's a connection. Oh, you two? Brother, I thought I was the only one, man. Now we connect emotionally. Now when I say, what's your why, Jeremy? He goes, man, I gotta tell you. Because why? You created that relationship. You guys, we can't do it. We don't build leaders any other way. The people I've had an opportunity to work with almost for 3 years now in the business, and some a year and a half, the ones that get this, you guys, the ones that get this they're blowing the business up right now. If I sponsor 2 people in my binary business, everybody that gets in under them is in my group. They're on my team. So why do I leave them alone? I'm going to search out. I'm always digging for gold. I'm making a phone call and saying, hey, you know what, Keith, tell me something. Hey, Keith, how's it going for you, man? What's going on in your life? I'm going to pick out those and I'm going to call them out in my business. I don't care if they're personally sponsored or not, because that's going to grow my group, grows my business. That's leadership. It's finding whys. And it's helping to what? Water those things. When you water the souls of your people with their dreams and their passion and their purpose and understand that, when you help them understand it, when they're better because they're on the phone with you than they were before you called, then they're going to change. They'll do it for you because they want to be valued and appreciated. And you know what, guys? Nobody in the world's doing this for us. Nobody is. That's why people come in this business and they're so drawn to it. Every organization, you know, whether it's Choir or Hudgens, whatever, every organization has a why culture. There's this culture that rolls through their business that has to do with purpose. You see it when you hear them speak. I didn't hear anybody up here in the questions. So you guys ask questions like, what do you do about this? You know what I would have asked them? I would have said to Lindsay, what changed you? What moment in time did you go from why me to why not me? Tell me that moment. I want to own it. I want to hear it. If I get a chance to be around leaders like this, I don't want to know how to start a new coach. Even though that's great, but we got it in the game plan. We got it in the back office. We got it everywhere. I want to say, tell me, Hillary Kelly, tell me why you built this business. What in your heart of hearts needed to come true? What value did you get from it? How has it affected you personally? How has it made you the person you are? Share that with me. Because see, that's what connects. That's what, man, I can do that. I want that. There's no big shots in this business. Every one of these people sitting here, they make 7 figures or 6 figures. You know how they got there? They changed lives. Your significance in your business is a direct relationship to how much money you make. Period. No other way. And you can't cheat the system. I used to love to see guys get my Amway business. Well, I don't care about the people part of it. I'm just going to rip and make a lot of money. You know what? I always think it's great because it's like a giant enema. It just gets rid of them, man. It seriously does. I just watch them over time and they just fizzle out. Because when it's about you, you ain't going to grow a relational marketing business. Carl Deichler made millions of dollars before he launched your company. Why the hell did he do it? Because he wants to see life change, purpose fulfilled, kids' lives changed, kids going to private schools, kids creating the next generation for all of us that can stand strong and stand firm and eat the right things and live the right life. and be a standing pillar for what we are. That's what he did, and he didn't need to do it financially. Y'all know that. And now you are the Carl Diker of your business. You are that person. How much income do you want? How big a business do you want? If I'm sitting here today and I'm you, I want 100,000 coaches in my downline. I want 100,000. I don't want to sleep till I have 100,000. Because I know with 100,000 coaches, I've got 25 to 50 leaders whose lives will never be the same, which means their kids' lives will never be the same. You're passing on a blessing, guys. It's responsibility as parents. I spent time in Springfield with Chad and Katie Grau. I love those guys. I fell in love with them because I sat down and you meet people whose passion is their family, whose passion is life change, who have very little ego, and all they want to do is discover the greatness of others and help them to launch and build a giant business. And I left her and I told him, I said, Chad, I told Katie, you will be 15-star by next summer. There's no question in my mind because you two get it. I love this business. I love being with you. I love being with people like them because they get it. They get it. You guys need to get it. Some of you do and some of you are just teetering on it. You're sitting here going, man, I can't believe I'm here. Believe it. You deserve it. It's just a start. Just a start. What's your why? Value. Be appreciated. Every person you talk to, every coach on your call wants to feel valued and appreciated and important. That's their why. That's what they'll go in the fire for. That why. And boy, you better be just flaming that every time you're on the phone. If I'm on the phone with Jeremy, he's personally sponsored by me. At the end of the call, I say, Jeremy, before we're done, dude, tell me the dream one more time. Give me your dream one more time, brother. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to listen to it. And I say, God, that turns me on, man. I want to help you do it, brother. I really do, because when I see you do that, it creates value for me. I want to be on that journey with you. It's not going to be easy, sucker. I'm going to kick your butt sometimes. I'm going to lift you up sometimes. I'm going to kiss you on that bald head sometimes. I'm going to do it all, right? But we're going to be in this thing together, dude, back to back. Until you get to that point where it is that you said, here I am. I've done it. That's a connection, guys. When you get off the call, finish with that dream. Finish with that why. Say, I know you want purpose. I know you want to spend time with those beautiful kids. I know you're spending all your time working right now. I'm committed to seeing you home. Because when you're home, your kids will never be the same. And you're going to shoot it. Proverbs talks about shooting an arrow into the future. That's your children. Train up a child in the way they'll go. But it's shooting an arrow into the future. A lot of you have these quivers with kids. They just shoot these arrows into the future. You gotta have courage. You gotta be willing to be strong and courageous. I know for some of us that's a scary thing. But you all have a story, you guys. Learn to tell your story. The lady who stood up back here from New Mexico, the one who said she was overweight. What's her name?
Mindy.
Is it Mindy?
Mindy.
Cindy?
Mindy.
With an M?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, kid. You know what? Just the fact you stood up and shared what you did was courageous. Because everybody faces those things. Look at me now. I've got whatever amount your goal is to lose. But when you stood up today, you would probably move me more than any speaker I've heard this weekend. You know why? Because you're not afraid to change. And you're not afraid to stand up and speak to other people about life change. And you are going to have the exact body you want. You're going to look the way you want to look. But in the process, because of your story, and because of how it affected me and emotionally changed me today, you're going to touch so many people's lives. These are just something we wear, you guys, till we're gone, right? This physical thing. And it's best to be in shape and to live as many years as we can. And I want all you to live to be 100 years old. Because, man, you imagine Brett Blake having this company. If we all live to be 100, my God, how many coaches are we going to have? 700 billion? And I want to see that for you. But along with that, sometimes we need to do this this whole evaluation of us, who we are, and where it is we truly want to be, and where it is we truly want to go. I was in Boston, a lady walked in, she was obese, extremely huge lady, gigantic. I was watching her walk in, being obese as a kid, I bond with these people. I'm looking at her, she's really, she has a hard time, she's probably about 450 pounds. She came over to me, and I was standing just about to go on and speak in Boston. She came over to me, and she had these tears in her eyes, and big full face, and she goes, "I'm so excited." She goes, "I've lost over 200 pounds. And I looked at that lady and I thought, "You're courageous." Because she still doesn't look real great. But she said, "I have hope that I've never had before. And I will get down to where I need to get." And I think of the people when she walks down the street, the people that stare at her and make fun of her and feel sorry for her. You know what I said? I don't feel sorry for you. Because you got courage. And you're changing your life. And you're making all the difference in the world. She just cried and I gave her a big hug. To me, that's what we are, you guys. That story, 200 pounds. Met a young guy when I was with Alethea. We were in Idaho Falls, I believe. Or Boise or Idaho Falls. And met a young man, he was 23 years old. And he'd lost 100 pounds on P90X his first round in 90 days, and he had never done it before. He started, he had 100 pounds to lose, started day one, did doubles of P90X from day one. Lost 100 pounds. He wasn't very eloquent, couldn't speak that good, had his head down, kind of talked to the audience like this. And the one thing he said was this, that emotionally got me in his story. He said, "It's not so much how I look now. It's what the people around me see when I walk in a room. And it's not the new body. It's the new me. Because you see, Greg, I have hope now. And I have purpose. And I have dreams like I've never had before. Thank you. Thanks for being a part of this. Tell Carl thanks. Tell Brett thanks. You just changed a man's life." He said, "My little kids are going to be blessed because of what you've done." I could go story after story after story. You all have a story. You all have an incredible, emotional, strong story. Tell it. Tell it. Your story is not you're 100 pounds overweight, but you got on Shakeology. That's part of it. Tell me where you're at. Tell me how hopeless. Tell me why you aren't anymore. Those are the people that move audiences. Those are the people that make a difference. Stories drive points home. Stories are what touch people's lives. Stories transport emotion. Whys and purpose transport emotion. Learn to communicate ours effectively. Because when you do, you touch lives. Your own personal coaches. Don't tell them your story till you listen to theirs. Don't tell them your story till you listen to theirs. Because we all have one. And most of them are of hopelessness and dreams of the past and things that we know we'll never have. And they might finally admit to you, this is kind of where I'm at. And I always say, but it's not where we're going. As a coach, it's not where we're going. Like Lindsay said today, my big thing is if I believe in you, then you're going to believe in you. And you will become what I believe you to be. That's how we build teams. That's how you break diamonds. That's how you go 5-star. You go find people that want their life changing and you want to fall in love with and help them discover their purpose, because in discovery there's conviction. Don't give them the answers, help them discover them for themselves. That's when you build relationships. That's when you build leaders. That's when you move people away from you that can stand alone. But it takes time, you guys. It takes time. It takes being strong. It takes your posture. It takes your dream. One of the things I learned about dreams and about my purpose and where I'm going, if I take my eyes off that, everything seems tough. The pebbles in the road become boulders when I take my eye off where it is I'm going. But when you know where you're going, and you know what your purpose is, and you know what you've been designed to do, and you know you're supposed to bless the next generation, and build a family legacy, and build a family destiny, when you know that, then someone getting inactive in your business doesn't send you down just to the doldrums of life. Somebody quit your business, so what? Are you still not going? Did you decide to not live your purpose because someone quit? Or someone got stolen device, Talus or whatever that crap name? Like, oh, do not put that on any company. Okay? So somebody leaves my company, goes, does that change where I'm going? Is my purpose changed because that person decided not to change their life? No. So when you decide what the purpose is, what the dream is, where I'm going, and the decisions made, then expect struggle getting there. And struggle's less painful than regret, right? So just expect it. Somebody's going to quit your business. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to call you up and just barf all over you negative. It's going to happen. So you decide, well, I don't know if I'm going to finish because of this. You need to become an emotional matador. You need to be a matador of emotions. You know, all of a sudden something comes along, just move it to the side. I'm sorry, you know, I'm going here. If I decided to fly to Miami and drive to LA, and my destination is LA, and I get in the car and I rent it and I start driving, if I get a detour that takes me 2 miles out of the way, or 10 miles or 100 miles, am I not going to LA? No, I'm going home. But I may be a detour. Some of you haven't really decided that you're going home yet. You're still kind of saying, well, I'll kind of give it a shot. You make Success Club and surprise yourself. Why? If that's where you're going. Disney World next year is no surprise. There's no surprise in leadership. There's no surprise in success. You don't wake up one day and all of a sudden you're successful and go, God, how'd that happen? You don't do that. You plan on it. Your plans for next year is to be at Disney World. But here's more powerful than that. If I'm you and I'm leaving here this weekend, I'm going home and I'm going to find 5 of my coaches and I'm going to say, you're coming to Disney World with me. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what we got to do. Dang it, you're coming. Your kids need to be there. I'm getting that picture of Mickey and my kids and I'm sending it to every one of those coaches. Said, your kids need to be there with us and I'll help you and I'll do whatever it takes to get you there. That's coming back with power. That's coming back with more than just you. But if you're going, then get there. Things are going to happen along the way. So what? They're little disturbances. So what? Did they change whether you're going or not? Did they change the destination of where you're going to be? It never does. That's where we're going. But we got to dig in here. So many of you are so afraid. I was speaking with Alethea in San Diego a couple of weeks ago on a Wednesday night. She got up and did a great presentation about the game plan and all the stuff, and all these people in the audience were sitting there. We had about 40, 50 people. I don't know how many. Monica Moore was there today. But we're sitting there and they're all just watching her, and she's telling all the facts and information and did a phenomenal presentation of how to do it. And when I got up there, I just went up there and said, you know what? That was amazing, Alethea. But you know the problem is, most of you don't believe this. It's not that you don't believe this work, you don't believe you can do it. There's a little guy sitting in the audience, he's about 5'4". I met him before, he's a military guy. I said, Nick, stand up for a second. I said, can you dunk a basketball? He goes, no, sir. It's 5'4". No, sir. I said, so for some of you, Alethea sharing that with you is almost like Nick, me saying to Nick, jump up there and slam dunk. You can't do it. You're sitting here, I don't think I can do it. And you know what the message is? Yes, you can. Just not with the person you are today. Because our fears override us. We have these lions in our life, and we run through them day after day after day after day. And some of us need to turn it and face it. This girl named Kate Hester, she's out of North Carolina, she recommended a book for me about facing the lions in your life, a great book. It was amazing because I read this book and it just blew my mind, because when I was a little kid, I had a dream every week that this giant lion was chasing me, and I just kept running and staying just a few feet ahead of me. It was kind of my life. And it was just chasing me and chasing me. And I remember one day in this dream, and I don't know why it happened, I turned and I faced this lion, and I pulled it, all of a sudden this magical sword appeared, and I slayed this lion. And I never had that dream again. Never had that dream again. And for some of you today, you're running from lions. And it's time to turn and face it. With the support of people like this. With a purpose of knowing I can't go there until I finish this. It's a journey, you guys. It doesn't happen overnight. Our lives are constant journeys, struggles of overcoming. That's your why. Of who you become when you sit on a stage like this. It's not how much money Christine Dwyer makes. I've watched who she's become in 3 years in this business. I love her. She's amazing. you know her on the inside and what she's about and how much she loves people. And all these coaches, Tommy and Josh. I sat down with Josh and Tommy. We went over there. They were a mess on time management. I looked at the guy and go, you guys, what are you doing? They were both so talented. They had no clue how to run their business or do anything. I remember just sitting there that night by this fireplace in this hotel. We sat for about 3.5, 4 hours and just, but they had so much courage. I just lambasted them. Dude, you got to do this. And a week later, Josh calls me, sends me a picture of his calendar, all color-coded, and Tommy sent me one. He had all the memorable things hanging off. He looked like some monster or something. So I look at these guys and I look at, you see, the biggest blessing we have in this business is I can see, because I know where they were and where they are today. Like some of you. Where you've been, but where you are. But where you are ain't where you're going. Where you are ain't where you're going. And that's our hope. And that's our dream. My dad died about 3 months ago, and he'd been on Shakeology for 6 months. And the doctor gave him this rave review, like you're going to live another 20 years. He was 82 years old. My brother called me. I was in Phoenix doing a Beachbody meeting. My brother sent me a text, 911, and I called him to Pop's dad, and they found him slumped over his computer. Just had a massive heart attack and died at his house by himself. Same house my mom died in 2 years before. I remember going up there for the had to identify his body and go up there and work on his estate and do some things. But I remember being out at the mortuary. It was around the cemetery, and I remember walking around and looking at all the gravestones and all the headstones. And the thing that always fascinates me about this, and you've all been to a cemetery at one time or another, is every one of us on our headstone have 2 dates. We have a birthday and a death date. And as long as we don't take our own lives, we don't control either one of those dates. But here's what always fascinates me. Between the 2 dates is a dash. In that dash lies our life. In that dash lies the purpose of Jerry. In that dash. How are we living our dash today? Where's that purpose and that dream that's intersecting in that why? So now we can't be denied. Where is that dash of second generation of your children? Standing strong with dreams and goals and hopes. And changing a nation because you're shooting a quiver. You're shooting that arrow. And you're putting someone out there who can stand strong and stand bold. We all live that dash. For some of us, it's time to step up. I can tell Brett Blake right now, I believe this with all my heart, the biggest businesses that have ever been built in this company have not been built yet. Some of them are sitting in this room right now, I guarantee you. You all got a dream inside. Every time I speak, you hear me talk about it. It's not going anywhere. It'll be there. You're either going to sing it, the song, write the book, or share the story. You're either going to share your story, or someone's going to tell it about you. My mom died of Alzheimer's a little over 3 years ago. My mom had a terrible life. She was molested by the time she was like 7 years old until she was 15. Her father died. My uncle molested her for her uncle molested her for like 7 years. She had a destructive life. Drank, terrible relationships. But my mom had this huge dream in her life of being a nurse. She just said, I know God made me to be a nurse. She wanted to help people. She wanted to be in those hospitals and make all the difference in the world. And I remember sitting down there many times as a young child saying, I just messed my life up. I can't ever do what I know I'm supposed to do. I would hold my mom and love on her. And didn't know what to say. I'm a young kid. We had 4 other brothers, and we were just trying to get my mom to survive day to day. The last 7 days before my mom died, her mind was pretty much gone. She had Alzheimer's, stage 4 was 5. The last 7 days before my mom died, she would go outside the front door. She'd get up in the morning, and she would go out the front door, and she would turn around and come home, back in the door, and she would spend the next 45 minutes telling about what her day was like at the hospital. I was in the pediatric ward today, honey. I helped so many little babies. This one was really sick. In her mind, she entirely had transformed herself to this career as a nurse working in a hospital. she would come and she'd share that. She'd start crying about emotional things. She had created this whole thing in her mind. You know why? Because it never left. It was there for her whole life. And for the last 7 days she lived it. My challenge to you guys today. Are you going to live it today? Or you wait and live it the last 7 days here? You guys have a whole something here that I don't even know how to put it into words. That's why I keep hanging around here. Until Brett tells me to quit hanging around, I keep hanging around. That's why I sit by the pool. And that's why I want to know who you are. I don't know where your life's. I want to know your story. So grasp your why. Live that dash. And leave here this weekend with a bigger vision than you've ever had to go bring somebody back with you. Lindsay talked about bringing 14 people back. 14 people's lives will never be the same. And now those 14 are going to go back and bring some more. That's who we are, you guys. People don't get us. I love that. Oh, you guys are Shakeology. Yeah, that's right. Oh, you guys are Peanut X. Exactly. Oh, you're Turbo Flower. Wait till they really find out. Because everybody in America wants to do something that matters. You guys matter. Make it